Just fix up your jacket and face that pain. Dropping that change, a tip for a stranger. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Unkles Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. But before we get into that, firstly, I just want to do a massive shout out to our sponsor. We're using their services today here in this building, Strike. Make sure you guys look into that company. One of our fellow uncles works here as well. So we just want to do a massive shout out to Strike. Thank you, Strike. The other shout out we want to do is to One Squad. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations for winning your championship as well. These are the One Squad specs. And I just want to say you guys did an awesome job. I've seen snippets all over social media and PNG, and thanks for putting PNG on your backs and getting the job done there. So number one in the world, One Squad. All right, guys. Now we'll just want to introduce someone here. He's a great mentor. He's been a great mentor to myself over the years and many others as well. He's an amazing guest today joining us. He's head of catering at dnata in Singapore. He's an operational leader, culture champion, storyteller, 2022 PNG AUS Emerging Leader, and just a great bloke, very all-rounder bloke, and great friend as well, Matthew Igo Ball.
Thanks, Charles. Thanks. Great to be here, boys. Appreciate having me on. Humbled to be here, and looking forward to the chat.
Yeah, definitely, bro. It's been a long time coming up. We kind of missed each other like the last time you were here, and then I know like we were like, let's do the whole thing, and then you were just here for a couple of days, and then you sort of had to go again. Business, obviously. Yeah, the business doesn't sleep. Yeah.
But work doesn't stop.
Work must be. Yeah, honest. No, really good to have you here, bro. Honestly, it's been a long time coming, and happy to share your journey tonight, and we're looking forward to it. So, firstly, as we do on the Unkles Podcast, as we always do, just wanted to touch on the word of the week. So, what's your word of the week that describes?
Funnily enough, you just mentioned it. It's journey. So journey in the sense of everyone has their own destiny, and they can change the end destination of where they go to. But also in the sense as well with a journey, you got to also remember to stop and take in sights on the way. Appreciate the scenery, and it's not just focusing so much on the final destination, but enjoying the ride for what it is. Often I think that's probably something that I've focused of late, and this week in particular is looking at the bigger picture, and even been back here in Australia, being able to spend time with family as well. So enjoying it for what it is, enjoying the ride, but also the growth that comes with that journey as well.
Journey, such a lovely word there, and definitely really good to like you said, just take note of the things that sometimes we might pass without paying special attention to, and enjoying that journey and enjoying that growth along the way. So that's a really good word, Matt. Thank you for that. But we'll just get stuck into it. Firstly, let's start from the beginning. Where did you grow up? Where did young Matthew Igo Ball grow up? Where were you born? And let's see how you.
So I was born in Brisbane. I grew up in Toowoomba. And it was, fairly normal sort of childhood. My mother's from Hunter, father's Australian. So as kids, sort of every 2 years, we would head back to PNG, see the family and spend Christmas holidays. So we spent, a couple of months at a time up in the village. And some of my best memories growing up were, like cricket in the street, fishing, hunting, just hanging out with the cousins. Like my mum's one of 8 kids. I've got 50 first cousins, hundreds of second cousins. So there was always something to do. There was that atmosphere around, there was just, you could play, you could hang out. That was some of the fondest memories that I had growing up, was spending time in PNG.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and just hearing those stories, that always brings me back as well to similar stories. Hang out with cousins, big family, 50 first cousins. I think a lot of us and a lot of Papua New Guineans that listen to this know that you'll have cousins that you don't meet for all your life, and then all of a sudden, oh, this auntie's such and such as your son, or it's like big extended families across the Pacific as well, definitely. But yeah, so and I know, like, this is just a side story. I know one of your cousins also represented PNG in cricket.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. So yeah, that was a few years ago. Lorno, so he was one of the PNG fastest bowlers. And funnily enough, one of your former guests as well, we've had on a couple of times, Chetty Sopa. I actually met him when he talks about his first tour.
Yeah.
I met him in the hotel room. Him and my cousin were sort of staying in the same room. So that was many, many years ago. So yeah, quite a random story. But I spent a lot of time around the PNG cricket team boys as well. When they would come through into Brisbane or into Toowoomba or different places. I'd always make the effort to come and hang out with them. And also when I was in PNG as well, I said, you play cricket in the street every afternoon, and like all the PNG players, they'll be out on the street as well, just playing with the kids. So spent a lot of time with them, and then in the league as well that they had. So you spend time with them, hang out with them as well. So connection there as well.
That's amazing, because for the last couple of weeks, we've had also Richard interview someone that just an episode that dropped on Sunday. Yeah, cricket PNG manager as well. So, yeah, great connection there. Definitely good connection there. And like for yourself, like, was there a moment personally earlier on in life? Because obviously we touched on just like you being a mentor earlier on. When did that sort of start? Like, what for yourself, or when did you start getting that the need to sort of be, when did you start getting that responsibility or that feel to be responsible or become a mentor? Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. It was probably it probably was a journey in itself, from where I started from, and like I was a very average sort of student. To be fair though, I wasn't good at school. I wasn't good at sports. I like playing sports. I like hanging out with my mates, but I definitely wasn't the best student. So I also did growing up in Toowoomba as well. Back then, there wasn't a lot of other Papua New Guineans or Pacific Islanders. So looking for that sense of belonging as well, and having people that I could relate to and hang out with. And I think that's where I had that sense of belonging, going back to PNG and hanging out with family, that I didn't necessarily have in Australia. Like my brother, he's 5 years older than me. And then, by the time I was 14, 13, he sort of moved as well. So I kind of didn't have that kind of that sort of sense of, I guess, belonging and people to hang out with. So that was something that I sort of actively sought out. I looked for fellow Papua New Guineans, other Pacific Islanders. I found a group of good guys, also some not so good guys. So probably led me astray a little bit. And I wasn't the best student. So I kind of had a couple of years when I was sort of 13, 14 where I kind of went off the rails a little bit. Got into a lot of trouble and doing this stupid stuff. With school, sort of teachers didn't necessarily think that I was probably going to amount to much as well, so they didn't necessarily invest a lot of time with me. In saying that, I kind of spiraled a little bit, at that age. Then I know when I went to PNG, when I was about 14, Mum took me back for school holidays. So I went back and I spent 2 months with the family in the village. Everything cousins did, I did, cash bus, go, all over Palm. We did everything together, like just hanging out. And I already had a sense before I left that, things were getting a little bit out of control and I probably needed to turn my life around. Then going to PNG, it really put life in perspective, especially so many families in one house, wondering how things are going to work out, how you're going to put food on the table at the end of every day. Is it, a lot of things that go through your head. So it really put life in perspective for me. And it was probably something that I could see, the life in Australia versus the life in PNG and, what the opportunities are. That was probably the turning point for me. I had one of my closest cousin brothers when I was in PNGs with him every day. The day before I came back, he mentioned, make use of the opportunities that you have because we don't have them. If we were here, we wouldn't be mucking around. Like, you've got every opportunity, you go to a good school, both parents in your family, you've got every opportunity, good home, don't ruin it. You go down there, you flood flag for us, you make it happen. So that was, the wake up call I really needed. I already knew I needed to change, but that just really sort of shocked me into action. So I came back. I then tried to study, at school. I think I did well enough to, pass. I went from failing in school to passing to, I did well enough to get into university. And then when I went into university, I changed my perspective. I surrounded myself around a solid support network. My girlfriend at the time, now wife, she was a huge supporter of me. I had really good mates that had a sense of purpose and they were really driven. So it gave me that structure and that sense of purpose that I needed to aim to be more. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. Like I said, it's a long answer to a short question, but it was a constant journey. And when I was in uni, I did quite well at uni. I did about nothing less than a B, but that's pretty good from failing in high school. And then going through, I was in my second year and I thought, I could be the PNG Student Association.
Oh yeah. Mike, after what? Like,
It's like God spoke to me and, told me like, I don't, yeah, but it was like, I wasn't a captain of rugby at school. I wasn't, anything like that, but it was, I just, had the sense that, I should do it. And, just got it done. And then like over the time, like we achieved all these, massive achievements. We were financially self-sufficient. We had the biggest independence, in years. It wasn't, relying on people to just give out funds at last minute. It was structured. There was a lot of more structure. And then that was probably my first, sense that, oh, hey, you can sort of change things around. And you are responsible for your own destiny. Like, anything's possible if you just believe and you want to do it. And I think that was probably, where it sort of kicked off. And then from there, it was just kind of loading more and more things on, thinking, if I can do that, I can do this. If I can do this, I can do that. And it was sort of believing that, backing myself and having that belief.
yeah, wow, man, that's awesome. Like that's shit. It gives me a lot of like, I just got like goosebumps hearing that. Yeah, definitely starts from that one change of perspective, obviously from your cousin giving you that speech, and then obviously went back, turned everything around from where you were heading in high school and that. That definitely, and I think a lot of Papua New Guineans can ID with that as well. So obviously having that I guess a pretty good life here in Australia. And most of us actually we do talk about that as well, and then going back the perspective that it gives you when you do reconnect with your cousins that aren't doing so well, or that would love to be in the same opportunity as well. That definitely gives you that boost. But it's a little bit, it's nice hearing that the stories about uni, and like you touched on uni. This one is just a question that I just thought about after hearing that. But we in uni, right? So because you ended up studying business, obviously, for your bachelor's, and then how hard was it, I guess, transitioning from uni life to working life, or like how do you find that journey?
Yeah, that was interesting in itself as well, because I went from I sort of did well in uni, and I sort of built up this sort of I guess a persona as well, like, oh man, I'm the man now. I'm doing well at school, got good friends, I'm doing all this sort of thing. And then I remember like my first graduate role out of university was like, I bombed it. Like it was a complete failure, and like I thought like I was doing what I needed to do to be the right kind of employee, which wasn't right at all. But I didn't have, to be fair, I didn't have the best leader as well that I was working under as well, the manager then. So it was a real tough learning curve for myself. It was quite humbling as well, because it kind of put life in perspective. And then for myself, I took out a lot of lessons from that. What the manager did really well, what they did not so well, and then how that sets me up. And I think that's I've had a lot of really good managers. I've had a lot of really bad managers as well. So when I look at it in perspective, I kind of take the best and leave out the worst, and learn from those experiences.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's something that I think everyone can also, I guess, ID with, because sometimes you just come out of uni, flying and say, yeah, I've graduated and everything, and then it's the first job's like, oh wow, yeah, so it didn't go so well. No, yeah, 100%. I was gonna also move into this one now. So after that job, you definitely started with a company that you're still with now. So you sort of become a bit of a one company man. Right. And I was gonna say that was your I thought that was gonna be your word of the week, but nah. No, that's so good. Like, I mean, look, this day and age, I think a lot of us, a lot of people, they tend to like move around when things get tough. I mean, you've been with dnata catering now for 12 years and 3 months now.
Okay.
Yep, 12 years, 3 months, and I mean, that's a journey in itself.
Yeah.
Like, from your first job didn't work out, and then straight into that. Like, from when that's like, how did you start in that job? Like, what was the opportunity? How did you get into it? How did you land that role at dnata?
Yeah, it was sort of meant to be, Ali, because I left from that role, and then I went to another role. Got a graduate role in Brisbane.
Yep.
So I moved down to Brisbane, and I was living down there. Again, that role didn't work out as well. Sort of quite a bad manager that I was under as well. So I left that, and I didn't have anything to go to. Same time, my mum had a heart attack. So she had a bit of time to recover and that sort of thing, which was part of the reason why I ended up leaving that as well, because I wanted to take time off and, kind of help look after her as well. And again, it was just putting sort of life in perspective. I wanted to take the time and spend it with her. So yeah, she did her recovery in South Brisbane. So she went to the hospital there, and it was close by to my place. So yeah, there, and then to Toowoomba as well. So yeah, so I spent a few months, looking after her and kind of hanging out, which is really cool as well. Great time to sort of be spending as well. So yeah, went through that. Then I thought, all right, I better start applying for jobs again. I need to get back to it.
Yeah.
And then I applied for a few jobs at the airport. I applied for dnata. And got in. My original role was HR/admin/billing. It was a bit of everything. So got in that way. But then as I said, over the last 12 and a bit years, I've moved around a bit. So I went from the HR and billing side, went into operations. I was account manager, customer service manager. Then during COVID as business development manager. It was a really cool project. And so set that up as well, and that was more of an operations manager role.
Yeah.
So managing all the ops and how everything works for that. It was brilliant. That was a really brilliant project, and that sort of set me up as well, because then that was kind of the showcase with when the Singapore role came up. That I had some runs on the board, and there something I could showcase.
Yeah.
I was really well backed as well. I had a lot of really good leaders around me, and that 100% backed me, and they saw something in me that I think a lot of other people could see. And that was even from senior managers as well. They put a good word in, and obviously I went through the process. So I got a foot in the door, but then obviously I had to work pretty hard to get in and to actually get across and do it. And it is a big sort of jump as well. Moving your family and young kids to another part of the world, and somewhere that I'd only visited once. But it was a great opportunity. And it was big thing that we wanted to do. Having young kids as well, you want to give the best opportunities for them. And my wife and I, my wife grew up in PNG till she was 15. Myself, had that experience. Although I never lived there, I was there, quite a bit, and probably my greatest life lessons were in PNG. So we had the sense that we want our girls to have the same opportunities. We want them to see culture, language, to see the differences between, to compare and contrast between other places, and not to slip in one place. Basically, to try and make better global citizens of them. So yeah, that was a big part of our choice, and yeah, the opportunity came for Singapore, and yeah, sort of jumped on it with both hands, and yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and then a few years later now, still back and forth from Singapore now. So
Yeah, still going strong. So no, it's been good, and yeah, with the company as well. Yeah, there's been a lot of opportunities, and yeah, like I said, they really backed me to come across to PNG, and then yeah. You get the opportunity to come back, which is nice, and it's always good to catch up with family as well, or back in town.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's such a great journey through that one company, and I'm actually privileged to be part of that journey as well. Matt gave me my first job at Head Catering. This was many years ago. First permanent job. I remember walking in, and then obviously Matt was there. I heard that there was a PNG HR guy there, so let me up all your fight there. He's like, nah. But yeah, just went in there. A lot of people had spoken highly of Matt, so just went in there, and it was I guess history now. But first job, first pay. What do you get with your first pay? New R. Williams. Yeah. But remember you said to me, still wrapping up. Yeah, that's still there. No, but yeah, seriously, that was a bit of I guess a good opportunity there. I mean, you went there as a young person that didn't really know what you were getting into, but through that, you gave a lot of people opportunities, not just myself, a lot of people in the diaspora as well in Brisbane, a lot of PNG, young Papua New Guineans, some who needed just money or pocket money to survive, some people not so fortunate as well, that you gave them that spark to, I guess, earn a buck and look after their families as well. So yeah, I guess everyone some of those people will be watching this now, and that's how it started, guys. And then now Matt's doing amazing things for that company overseas now. They're working abroad. So another thing I want to touch on, obviously go back a bit now to that mentor part, I remember when things got hard. This is me now, I guess reflecting back to when I was working there. Sometimes, obviously, we would see you. This is on the weekend or something, when we're just with the supervisors and that, and everyone from the the higher managers, they would be there. Sometimes Matt would walk in on a Saturday just to say hello. And I just remember one time, you just brought me aside and you were like, "Oh, bro, you should be studying. You should try actually look into study and all that." And I remember because I finished uni, and then I actually didn't finish uni. I actually came out of what I was studying at that time, and then I picked up this job, and I was doing it for a couple of years, and then I think you identified something, or you were very good at identifying things like that with people, but you kind of brought me aside and said, "Hey, you should be studying. You should try look into doing some university, or just try to learn something." And then I ended up taking that advice as well. So I started looking into courses to study, and then a couple of years after that, when I graduated uni, I had the privilege to graduate as well with Maddie, and started MBA at that time. And then how cool was that?
Yeah, just full circle.
Full circle. And the same day we graduated, he was finishing his MBA, and I was finishing my bachelor's. But
I definitely I remember that really well, because I could see there was more in you, and you're there earning money, and that was good, but I could see that there's more that you had to offer to the world, and more to life as well. So I didn't want you to rest on your laurels, and you'd be there for 30 years and then you look back and regret it. So there was definitely you had more in you. So I'm glad you did take that on, and you made something of it, and you're doing well today, and it's sort of very, very proud to see the growth that you've had and the journey that you've been on as well personally, from from the wash in the airport back on the days to doing the pot wash to now, and but I think that was probably something as well. we did have a few PNG people, but I was always, pretty hard on them as well.
Yeah.
Because, in work, you always represent three things. You represent one, yourself, two is your name, and three is your culture and country. So, I always, instilled that in everyone that started and made sure that they got that sense as well. Because I wanted, people to say, if they see Papua New Guineans, they think, oh man, they're hard workers, like they get 110% all the time. I didn't necessarily want people that were there and, gave a negative connotation that they were late, that this, that they were that. So, that's why we had a really solid group as well, of PNG community as well that were around, which was good. Obviously, there was no bias in the selection process. It was, finding the right people for the right roles. It was probably, just, giving an opportunity for different people as well. But area it was it was a good time, and it was pretty cool as well. That of all the nights graduated on the same line. They took a photo together as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Which pretty cool. But proud of you for everything you've done, and also for the Unkles as well. What you guys are doing, Rich in J Money and CTEN, like you guys have come a long way as well. I know, like I've been there since day one as well. Even when you guys talking about potentially starting a podcast, it's just are you like that'd be a cool idea. Maybe I could do it as well. I don't know. But you guys have done so well, and to see the growth that you've all undergone as well. Like huge props to you, and some of the guests that you're getting now are international stars. So it's awesome to see how far you guys have come on your own journey as well.
Bro, jeez, sounds like your podcast now. So welcome back. Hey, we're back. No, but thanks so much. Honestly, thanks for coming on board. Wait, we're acting like we're wrapping it up now. There's actually a couple more questions. Sorry, let's ask, bro. Thank you again. Thanks for always being there. Just wanted to also ask as well. I guess with living abroad, obviously, you touched on living in Singapore. You're still there now. Your family's there. What's been the biggest cultural learning curve, I guess, working overseas or working especially in Singapore? And what surprised you the most about yourself in that space?
Good question. It's probably just the subtle differences, to be fair. And when I say that, what I mean is, when you go on holidays and say you go to somewhere where it's completely different to, your custom, your culture. So say like if you go to Japan or somewhere different, there's different ways of doing things, how you catch a train, how you catch a bus, how you order food. You get small things that lead to bigger things. And I think that, for myself, when we first moved to Singapore, there was a lot of these little nuances, although, a lot of people speak English there and it's fairly easy to get around. There's these little nuances. So, how you get around the city, how you do this, how you do that. So it was that was the initial thing. And then once I started working as well, just the different cultures as well and how they interact. It's very different to how Papua New Guineans or how Australians interact, or different cultures that I've been with as well. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but probably not a challenge. It was just more of a different way of seeing things and the way of how things get done as well. There was some initial things, but I think the family really enjoyed it as well. It's been a good opportunity, for the kids as well. They do school English and Mandarin, and they're 3 and 5, so they're learning a lot. They're growing heaps, and it's great to see as well how much they've grown in that time and in the short couple of years it's been as well.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. No, Singapore must be a really nice place to be. Definitely sounds like I've never been, but one day I'll have a little squeeze over. Nah, but bro, honestly,
Join uncles pop up.
Uncles travel. Singapore. Was in Singapore. No, do a pop up there. But yeah, like honestly, that's such a good thing to do, and like you said, it's good for your family as well, for the kids to grow up in. And the other person I was gonna ask was like, do you feel like you're still representing PNG in a way when you're abroad in Singapore? Like how, I know Papua New Guinea has a lot to do with Singapore, but like in your own way, I guess, how do you represent Papua New Guinea in that way?
Yeah, still a good question. I think we all represent PNG in our own way. We we wear it on our chest, we carry it on our back, as you sort of said earlier with One Squad and, you know, the achievements they've done. I think everywhere we go, everything we do, we are a representation of Papua New Guinea, and you can't forget that as well. Like I said earlier, you know, with the workplace as well, a lot of people then have a connotation of how Papua New Guineans are based on how you work, how you do things, how you interact, you know, who you are, your personality. I think that carries, you know, quite a long way. And when you are abroad as well, like for myself, you know, I definitely feel that I'm representing PNG in a way, and, you know, showing people that there is a way as well to get across, you know, not only to Australia but to Singapore. And, you know, there's a number of Papua New Guineans as well that are in Singapore. There's a, you know, a small community, so we catch up with them as well, and hang out with a few different people as well. So it's, you know, there is that sense of, you know, been Papua New Guinean still. And I think, you know, you never forget that as well. Everywhere you go, you know, carry that with you. And I think, you know, for my daughters as well, you want to have that sense in their upbringing as well, that they know where they're from. You know, although they've never lived in PNG, but, you know, they understand what their culture is, what the language is, you know, that we speak to them, that we teach them the customs, that they understand who they are as well in the world, you know, that they're Papua New Guinean as well. And yeah, you know, how they will play their role in the future as well, being a Papua New Guinean anywhere that they go in the world.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And yeah, I think that's a really important thing as well. I think one time in one of the early episodes, Richie and I sat down, and yeah, it's like, I guess when you're Papua New Guinean, you bring something unique to the table, and it's good to know that, like, you know, someone like yourself, you skill instilling that in the family, instilling that in what you do every day. So yeah, don't be ashamed, guys. If you're Papua New Guinean, you're working out there, always carry a bit of that culture with yourself when you're, you know, in an interview, or you never know where it's gonna, you know, how unique that's gonna make you stand out. So.
And I think, like, anywhere you go around the world as well, you know, people always ask, and you say, oh, Papua New Guinea, and I never met a Papua New Guinean, and, you know, you deal with people from, you know, all around the world, so it's quite cool in that sense as well. You know, and you are a representation of PNG, so it is good to fly the flag high and, you know, do the right thing.
I feel so patriotic right now. Yeah. We're reading it to independence. You're not going to be here for them, are you? You know.
No, I'll be back in Singapore.
What a pity. Step you made along the way that became a massive learning moment for yourself. I know you touched on that a little bit with going back to PNG, but is there anything that's memorable that helped you?
Yeah, I think there's probably no missteps, you know, in the sense that I always see, you know, if you make a mistake or an error, it's actually a opportunity to learn and to grow. So I've always looked at it from that perspective, that anything is an area or potential for growth and opportunity. So what you do with it, you know, how you react to it, your attitude towards a situation, you know, you can ultimately affect the outcome. I think there's been, you know, a lot of situations and things that have happened in my life that, you know, you could potentially, you know, sort of break down and just, you know, say, oh, that's it, that's the end, or you can kind of dust yourself off and kind of get back on with it. So there's been a lot of things like that for myself, where, you know, I've faced adversity, but I've had to sort of push through. And I think for myself as well, you know, we sort of spoke a bit earlier about education and that sort of thing. And like I said, I wasn't the best student at all. Even when I was at uni, like I wasn't the best student. I had to work really hard to, you know, to get decent grades. You know, I'm not someone who can just, you know, scan a page and understand it. Like, I've got to read that thing 3-4 times. Like, that makes it really hard. You know, when you're doing your masters, your MBA, and then, you know, you spending extra time to read things. You know, for myself, I'd work long hours, early starts, I'd finish, I'd go to QTNC, so I did, you know, night classes, finish night classes, do, you know, study with the group, assignments, that sort of thing, go home, you know, eat, and then I'd go and study again at home. And then I'd do that till 3-4 in the morning every morning, then get up and then go again. So it was having that, you know, that sense that I knew what my strengths were and what my weaknesses were. And if I wanted to make a go of it, I had to really, knuckle down and, work hard to get there. Because, you meet some people that they've got all the talent in the world, but, they'll waste their way. But, I've always found, talent doesn't work unless hard work does. You've got to put in the time, you've got to put in the effort. Like, you talk to the footy players and then they'll say it's all about the 1%ers. And it's exactly the same in work and study. It's about, doing the things when no one's watching, your own discipline, your own values, and then how you, carry yourself as well. So that was a big piece as well. I think, if you've got a dream, go out and get it, because no one's going to do it for you. Go hard. Like, you're the captain of your fate. You can change your destiny as well. So everyone's got a journey, and then everyone's just different. So.
And yeah, some very special words there. Thanks for that, Matty. Finally, I guess, what's one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self back when you were first starting out in catering or leadership, whatever it is, getting on that journey to where you are now? Maybe there's a young Matt Ball somewhere. What advice would you give to the?
Probably would be. I think having the right attitude, because your attitude affects everything that you do. How you do your work, how you hold yourself to values, how you keep yourself accountable. I've always started the day with the attitude of gratitude. So every day, if when I was in Oz and I'd be driving to work, or if I'm on the bus. But for myself, it's, I'll say my prayers. And I always start my prayers by what I'm thankful for. It's obviously not material things. It's about, my family, my wife, my kids, my parents, my in-laws, job, bosses. I go through the whole list, because, I heard a quote once, and it said, if you were to lose everything except for what you thank God for today, what would you have? And I've always sort of kept that perspective that, be thankful. So, every day start with an attitude of gratitude. Start the day right, I think. And it also does put life in perspective as well. Whenever you're going through things, if you've got the right attitude, if you've got the right motivation as well. For myself, like, with, the background in PNG, I always think, no matter how hard life is, it's not too hard. Like, it could always be worse, to be fair. So I've always had that perspective, like, and a lot of people will say, I'm so calm under pressure, but I think it's because I have that perspective and that attitude towards things. It's, you're not complacent, you don't let things sort of fly, but you learn from the mistakes, like I said earlier, and you're having the right attitude and how you learn and grow from it, and then how you go into a journey and change that journey to be the destination that you want it to be.
No. Honest, damn, nah, that was amazing, bro. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. That last piece of advice, ladies and gentlemen, please, take that advice and take it far as well. So, really privileged to have you tonight, bro. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for making time on this trip. I know, Tom. Walk must go, yeah? As the wise people say, Bro, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you guys. Again, just want to do a massive shout out to dnata catering as well. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it all for my first job as well. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, Matty Ball.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.